So I scoped out an estate sale that I saw online that had pictures of some really promising comic books. I went there, I bought just 5 comic books, but one of them is a major Bronze Age key. Let's take a look at what I picked up, and we're going to do a read through. Up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. You can check out the description of this video for links to my eBay store, my whatnot, my email, and my Instagram. I'm getting all that out of the way. So I had gone, and I'm probably going to release this well past the time. It was still school. It was in session. And it was one of the last days. So it was finals. I had no responsibilities in the morning. So I went into work. I started to take care of some emails and stuff. And then I had some time free. So I decided to go out to get lunch, which meant that I went to an estate sale, which was about 20 minutes away from my school that I'd scoped out, right? And I got there maybe 20 minutes ahead of time. But there were some folks who'd been there for quite a while and some folks that I knew that I've recognized, you know, from being at flea market shows at Street Side Anthony's and what have you, and that recognized me from the channel. So there were other collectibles there as well. I know there were cards, baseball, sports cards, and a bunch of other things, and no early birds. So the owner of the house actually had the driveway kind of cordoned off, had a list attached to his mailbox that you could write your name in. And there were only about maybe less than 10 of us there when the estate sale started. Now, this was a promising estate sale, and that was an estate sale that was run by the owner. It wasn't an estate sale company, which brings a whole other level of complication. And the, which usually just want to sell the whole thing, or things are way overpriced or unrealistic. At any rate, I decided to, head there. So there were some folks that went in before me, and the majority of people were there for the comic books. Some people were also there for the cards, and there may have been toys and what have you. There was one guy that was there well ahead of time. So, and I do give props to the owner for saying I wanted to give him first shot. He was here very early. So he let him go, and then another guy go, and they browsed through the comics. And I got there later. But the problem was the comics were pretty much priced at fair market value. They weren't overpriced. Some of them might have been a little bit based on condition. But then there were like price books that were kind of laid out almost in display cases. And then there were some other boxes priced as marked that it was mostly Bronze Age stuff, some Copper Age. And then it was like $4 boxes. So I kind of looked at stuff, and I went through the $4 boxes, and I picked up, this was a book I like. It's the first appearance of Karen Beecher in Teen Titans 45. She becomes Bumblebee. This is a decent copy. Probably like an 8.5. I really am looking for a high grade one of this. I haven't found one. I always like get them kind of beat up. And then just some Fantastic Four ones which have cover keys. 249 with Gladiator lifting thing. And this 257. This is also a Frankie Ray Nova key. This Galactus Death cover. And then the She-Hulk in 291, that homage to Action Comics 1. So then there were some more expensive books, and there was one book in particular that I had my eye on. And it's one of my all-time favorite comic books. I already have a few copies. I don't have my childhood copy because I know I had this as a kid. And we're going to do a read-through on this because I do think it has significance, and most people don't reckon, most collectors, and this book has been on hot lists, and it is a pricey book. And I did negotiate, and fortunately, he did have some wiggle room. So I offered a price. He said, Is there anything else you like? Because it was like he knew that this book was. And I said, nah, I'm really looking at this book. You know, I had it as a kid, etc. And so we met in the middle, and it was I got a good deal, not a great deal. I didn't get a steal of it, but I think this will benefit from a little bit of a press. It definitely is a mid-grader, and it's Batman 251 with this classic Neal Adams cover. Now, unlike some of the other Neal Adams covers, right, specifically like Batman 227, Batman 227 with that, which is the, which is the classic Neal Adams cover, the homage to Detective Comics 31. The interior art is Irv Novick. It's not Neal Adams. This, this is a cover and interior pencils by Neal Adams. And we're going to go through the story. The story is amazing. Now, this book has more significance than just the cover. Especially to me. I mean, it's not just personal, but I bought this book. It would have come out when 1973. I was just short of my 7th birthday, right? And we'll do the read-through. And I was reading this at 7, and it was indelible. And I was familiar with Joker from the Batman 66 series. That was my entry point. I was watching that series before I could read. And so DC was trying to break away from that. Now, the Joker had not appeared in comics in almost 4 years. He hadn't appeared in the Batman title since issue 250. Or, I'm sorry. He hadn't appeared in the Batman title since issue 201, which was in May of 1968. This is September 73. So we're talking 5 years that Batman was not in, 50 issues. Batman was not, Joker was not in the Batman title. He did subsequently appear in World's Finest 177. And then in Detective Comics, what issue of Detective was it? Detective Comics 388. And then his final Silver Age appearance was cover dated December of 1969. And that's nearly 4 years before this. This is September 73. So in December 69, he appeared in Justice League number 77, where he teamed up with the Royal Flush Gang. And to be honest, in that issue, the Joker did God's work. He got Snapper Carr to betray the Justice League, which got Snapper Carr out of the Justice League of America series. So props to the Joker for that. And but he didn't kill anybody. And he was kind of more, the goofy trickster, prankster, rather than the homicidal maniac that he was from his first appearance in Batman #1. And this particular issue brings the Joker back to that. And of course, Adams and O'Neill, they had rebooted Green Lantern, or not really rebooted. They had changed the direction of Green Lantern and added Green Arrow to the mix and the Hard Traveling Heroes storylines in Green Lantern. And then they also kind of updated Batman to be darker, more detective based. And so that was, really the key aspect to that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look. We're going to read through this particular issue because not a lot of us may have read this. Okay, we're going to do a read through of this copy of Batman 251, this classic Neal Adams cover. Now, full disclosure, I broke up the two parts of this video. This is not the same one I picked up. I got this as part of a collection, but it's the same story, right? And you have this classic Neal Adams cover, but for me, the story inside by Denny O'Neil with art by Neal Adams is equally as amazing. And I read this as a kid. I was not quite 7 years old, and when I picked this up years and years later, I'm like, yeah, I remember that. So Joker laughing maniacally, and Batman. From the darkness of a country road somewhere north of Gotham City, and from the greater dark of a past filled with evil, comes a terrifyingly familiar face. Thunder racks the earth and lightning scars the sky, and wetness streams from the clouds like tears of mourning. It is as though nature itself were weeping. And well it might, for there is death abroad this night. The Joker's 5-way revenge. Oh, I did skip the page there. It is nearing 11 o'clock when Police Commissioner Gordon answers a summons to a lonely spot on the outskirts of the city and gazes at a huddled form sprawled in the rain-soaked mud. I've seen a lot of dead men before, Commissioner, but none like him. Look at his face. Yes, twisted in a hideously grin, ghastly. I wish the Batman would arrive. I'm here, Commissioner. Been here for 10 minutes. Blasted Batman, must you constantly startle me? Sorry, sir. I wanted to examine the scene undisturbed. Well, what do you make of it? I'm afraid there is no question of who committed this crime. The dead man's grin. It's the trademark of only one criminal. And to clinch it, I found this nearby. A Joker. I'll detail a squad of my best detectives immediately and... Go ahead, Commissioner. If it'll make you feel better. But I have an idea official methods will be too slow to prevent further killings, so I'll be investigating on my own. Ever since I heard the Joker escaped from the state hospital for the criminally insane, I've been expecting him to show up. But there was no way to search for him in a city of 8 million until he made a move. Which he has, and I've got a very good idea what he'll try next. I've kept a close watch on the members of his former gang. One of them works as a janitor in this ratty gym. It figures. The guy's a former boxer. Used to be a fair light heavyweight. Went by the name of Packy White. The Batman. Hey, fella, good to see you. Come on, let's chew up while I work out. Still practicing the old skills, eh, Packy? Yeah, a fellow my age got to keep in shape. Now, what's on that sharp mind, huh? As you know, the Joker's rattling around loose. I have reason to believe he snuffed a friend of yours. We found Philly Jack Barton dead, and he was wearing a big smile. Sounds like the boss's style for sure. Oops, sorry there, missed the bag. Perfectly all right. So what's poor old Philly got to do with me? Oops, missed again. Think nothing of it. To answer your question, one of the Joker's thugs, employees betrayed him. When we finally nailed him, he swore he'd kill you all. Remember? Check. You figure he'll come after old Packy? Correct. I'm guessing he'll systematically murder every one of you, unless you place yourself under police protection. Go to jail without being dragged, not this pug. I can't force you to cooperate, Packy. However, you just might have a slight accident. A fist-type accident. And it just might put you in the hospital, where officers could guard you until the Joker is caught. You can surrender yourself, or we can continue playing. Your choice, Packy. Make it. Now, here's the thing. These were, was this Aurora? Yeah, Aurora model kits. You know, a lot known for the 60s of the superhero and the Universal Monster kits, but my childhood had these kind of prehistoric, kind of mixing dinosaurs and humans and woolly mammoths, which did not all exist at the same time, my friends. And what happened is they were interlocking, which was really cool. And my dad got this huge sheet of plywood, and we would, we would get the models, put them together, paint them. My dad would get really elaborate, very detailed colored paints, model paint, and then we would glue them all together on this this one thing together. It doesn't have the Allosaurus or the saber-toothed tiger, which were part of that, but that was something that was really a great part of my childhood. Brings back great memories in addition to the comic book. Seeing as how you put it like that, jail ain't a bad joint. I got a lot of pals in the slammer. As long as I don't have to stay in there for long, I've been going straight. Be with you in a second. Gotta take a drink of water, take the taste of your knuckles out of my mouth. The manly art of pugilism lost a champ when you put on your mask, fella. It's kind of funny. You, the Batman, working about a strong arm artist like old Packy. Yeah, really funny. So funny. It hurts. Arrgh. Too late. He's been poisoned with the nerve toxin the Joker developed. The stuff that causes a person to laugh himself to death. Round 1 goes to the Joker. And unknown to the Batman, His foe is about to take the second round also. 4 in a sleazy hotel room. I'm surprised to see you in Gotham. I figured you'd want to stay clear of the Batman.
Oh, dear me, no. I fully expect him to find me, regardless of where I hide. I don't know how or when, but the Cape Crusader will locate me. He always does. However, I intend to be ready for him. By the way, were you the one who betrayed me, Albie?
Me? Oh, Joker, I'm your pal.
Have a cigar, pal. Try it. You'll like it.
Not a bad smoke. Hey, I bet you're pulling a gag on me, right? I bet this is an exploding cigar, right? Same old Joker, always with the gags. Well, I can go along with a laugh. I mean, what harm can a little exploding cigar do, right?
Boom! Poor fellow. He gets part of the joke. A pity he didn't guess the explosion in the cigar was nitroglycerine. Rest in pieces, Albie.
10 minutes later, the Batman hears of Albie's abrupt demise on the police radio. And the Joker's making a fool of me. He's already killed 3 of his 5 ex-gang members. The 4th, Bigger Melvin, lives on a converted garbage scow in the waterfront district. Maybe, just maybe, I can get to him first this time. Soon, as Bigger Melvin's less than lavish living quarters, "Oh my gosh, the Batman. He must have found out it was me who mugged the geezer in Gotham Park. I gotta run." Now, I do like how Neil Adams does, like, even at this point in comic book history, go outside the confines of the panels, which was difficult to do at the time because the variability in how the panels would be centered. That's why you have part of the reason you have this border is, sometimes the whole image may be shifted over this way, up, down. You, Bigger Melvin, wait. No chance, Lawman. The Batman's faster than me, but I know every inch of the docks like the palm of my hand. He'll never catch me. I'll duck around these crates, go over the warehouse wall. Probably lost him. But to make sure, I'll slip under the docks, dive into the sewer pipe, crawl a couple of blocks underground, come out a good mile from my joint. Yeah, I foxed the Batman. And no kidding, no way for him to grab me now. As I was saying, Bigger, Gack, your former leader has done in 3 of your associates, and I have reason to believe you're next on his list of victims. I'm asking you to put yourself in protective custody. Sure. Anything you say. Only how's about we go stop by my scow so I can get my toothbrush? A reasonable request. Lead on. Hey, well, I don't want to seem chicken or nothing, but you mind going in ahead of me? Another reasonable request. Okay, follow me. Okay, Bigger, coast is clear. Bonk. Boy, what kind of dummy does he take me for? Expecting me to buy that Joker yarn. I know all he wants is to pin that mugging on me. My love tap ought to keep him dreaming long enough for me to get my toothbrush, my gun, and my knife, and then I'm highballing it out of town. And I love this panel with the Joker creepily in the background. Like, it's just alluded to that the Joker's going to do something horrible, and the rest of the page plays out. In a couple of minutes, my troubles will be over. They kind of will, Bigger. Scant seconds later, the idiot. I'm the only thing between him and a coffin, and he KOs me. I didn't think he'd be so stupid. I should rest a moment. The blow on the skull made scrambled eggs of my brains. I'm groggy, but I figure Bigger is in danger. Too late, the Joker's beaten me again. He's like a one-man plague. He comes, kills, and vanishes. And again, I love how it's all like subtle. Like you have to fill it in. Then, or has he vanished? Quickly, the Batman whirls, his pain-numbed senses telling him he is not alone in the squalid shack. But not quite quickly enough. He is a fraction of a heartbeat too slow. He has time just to glimpse a grin before a heel smashes brutally into his face and oblivion claims him.
His life is mine. I can crush the breath out of him effortlessly. I can at last triumph. but such a hollow victory. If I was mere luck that caused my attack on him to succeed. I'd always envisioned my winning as a result of cunning at the end of a bitter struggle between the Batman and myself, him using his detective skills, and me employing the divine gift men call madness. No, without the game that the Batman and I have played for so many years, winning is nothing. He shall live until I can destroy him properly.
Brother, people are making a habit of using my head for a bongo drum. And I'm letting them. The Joker nearly booted my skull into the next county. What's this? Looks like crude oil and some sort of sandy stuff. Must have been left on my face by the Joker's heel. A clue? Could be. I can't read it, though. Nothing to do except continue the chase. There's just one of Joker's gang left. The forger, Bing Hooley. Last I heard, he was in a home for the aged. Even criminals get old. Those who don't wind up in prison, the gutter, or the grave. And in the home of the charity home. You wish to see Mr. Hooley, Batman. I'm afraid that's impossible. He's gone. Where, sister? He left this morning with a dear friend of his, a Mr. Genesis. So nice of Mr. Genesis to care for the elderly, don't you agree? I'm afraid not, sister. You recall that St. Genesis is the patron saint of actors and comedians, jokers. The Joker kidnapped Hooley early before he committed the rest of the murders, so he has to have Hooley hidden somewhere. On some rain-slick street in Gotham, the Joker has a hideout. Wait, rain-slicked, of course. If I hadn't been so busy chasing around, I'd have seen the obvious, at least when I wiped the goo off my face. One area where the Joker could have picked up that particular mixture, crude petroleum and sand, and it's a spot made to order for him. Lonely, isolated, perfect. I can be there in an hour and will be. Yesterday, a ship at tanker ran aground just off Gotham Island, dumping hundreds of thousands of gallons of crude oil into the sea. The storm has prevented any cleanup effort. The wind has been pushing the fouled water toward the mainland, which means the beaches are full of it, and anyone walking on the beach would have sand and oil on his shoes, as the Joker did. Logically, he'd hide here in the aquarium building the government closed last month. I have a tingling at the base of my neck, a feeling of danger. Exactly what I want. With no effort at stealth, the Batman boldly enters the building and is greeted by a piercingly chilling voice.
Oh, Batman, you found me. I was certain you would, and I'm glad.
Any particular reason, Joker?
Yes. All the while I was behind bars, I missed our clashes. I dreamed of humiliating you in a specifically humorous way.
Care to begin?
Yes. Try this. A laughing gas grenade?
Joker, you disappoint me. Surely you expected me to expect that ploy. Naturally. I came prepared.
Your chemical antidote, how well I recall the time you invented it. Oh, this is such fun. In the exhibition hall, I have a surprise for you, a delight I've never used.
I can hardly wait.
Don't sink your fist into me just yet, Batman, not till you see the surprise I promised. Notice I'm holding a handle attached to a chain. On the other end of the platform is my old associate, Hooley. I yank the chain, and Hooley falls into the glass tank below. But don't worry, I'm not mean. He won't drown. No, he'll be a meal for the shark I found half dead on the beach. Poor fishy was hurt by the oil spillage. Now for my proposition. You allow Hooley to live, if you permit me to manacle your hands behind you, and then I go swimming with the shark. Oh, you are clever. What's your answer?
Put on your shackle and answer a last question.
For you, anything.
Why choose a shark as the instrument of your revenge?
Take a look. We resemble each other.
Joker, you realize you're utterly, hopelessly insane.
It's my most charming trait. Bye-bye, Batman. Have a nice dinner. Be a nice dinner. Ha 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 ha. For dessert, shark can have Hooley. Ha ha ha.
You promised.
I'm a notorious liar. Ta-ta!
Neither of us can last a minute with that hungry beast pursuing us. It's going for Hooli, attracted by his bright red jacket. Are sharks attracted by red? I don't know. I've never had to fight so unprepared. I've never met a sea predator in his own element. Yes, you did in the Batman 66 movie, and you had shark repellent. Bat shark repellent. Still, there may be a workable maneuver. Use the chain links to put its teeth out of commission. Heave. Heave, maybe snap its spine or something. Break, blast you, break. Suddenly, the shark shudders and slowly sinks. Got the shackles off, too. That took about 20 seconds. Hooli can't spare. Got to get him to air. Glass is too smooth to climb and too thick to break with my bare hands. Need a tool, and there it is. Hooli's wheelchair, good, sturdy steel frame and heavy. Not the best thing, but the one I have. Another 20 seconds gone. Hooli's probably already stopped breathing. He has a chance with artificial respiration, provided I give it fast. Using every scintilla of the power locked in his incredible frame, straining to overcome mortar resistance, the Batman smashes the chair forward again and again. Kawoosh! He's stronger than I guessed. He is breathing. He'll be okay. Which leaves me free to concentrate on the Joker. Oh, Batman! I've seen you angry like this often. Nobody alive can beat you when the anger is upon you. No, you'll get no battle from me. I may be insane, but I'm not crazy. So I'll run away and live to put egg on your face another day. Outside, there is dawn and desperation. He hasn't lost any of his cunning. He has a getaway car with balloon tires for riding on sand. He reaches it, and he's gone. I love this splash, don't you? It's a classic Batman Neil Adams pose. The night has taken its toll on me. The blows to the head, the battle in the aquarium. I can't get up to full speed, and he has a big start. But within yards of freedom, the fleeing madman slips and falls. Frantically, he rises, to be confronted by a pillar of gray rage. It's over, Joker. Finished. They're going to put you precisely where you belong, in a padded cell, and I hope they lose the key. Not fair. I was so close. You would have escaped all right except for the oil slime on the beach. You slipped on it, and you'll go on slipping to that cell. You're not laughing. Don't you see the joke? No, not funny. You're wrong. It is funny. You think that you, my archenemy, would make me grateful for pollution. The end. Letters to the Batman. Wasn't called Batmail at this time? Anyway. Dear editor, it shall suffice for myself and you two to say that on a scale of 1 to 5, superior to poor, Batman number 248 came through with a well-deserved 1. Mike Kaluta turned out a beautifully laid out and drawn cover, which, coupled with vivid coloring, drew a 1. Denny O'Neil, Bob Brown, and Dick Giordano conspired to produce a very engrossing, interesting, and well-produced story in The Death Knell for a Traitor. It also earned a 1. The thing is, even though this little episode was superior, Denny O'Neil has written better stories. Bob Brown has turned out better art. Rarely, though. This was one of his best jobs. And Dick Giordano has inked much better on previous occasions. It just seemed that certain little bit that should have been there was lacking. When this team works to its utmost, you know you've got something very hard to come by these days, a classic. The same seemed to go for the Robin story. Immortals of Euston Castle, Elliot Maggott and Irv Novick have had better days, but I've never thought of Frank McLaughlin's anything to stand up and cheer about in the first place. But this story seemed to be so trivial as to only rate it 2. Very good, which is no insult. Someone should tell Maggott that fighting robots is out. I will say that I approve of the general way in which Robin is being handled. The thing is, his stories of late have seemed to be trivial and lacking in some kind of pizzazz. I herewith leave it up to you for rebuttal and improvement. Dear Ed, Keith Griffith, Mobile, Alabama. Thanks to our hearty assistance, you reader critics, the Batman rebuttal follows immediately, trailed by the Robin rejoinder. J.S. Julius Schwartz. Dear Editor, Death Knell for a Traitor was a very fine Batman tale. This excellent story was introduced by one of the wildest Batman covers in a long time. You can almost feel and hear the phantom bullets spattering around Freese. The covers for this mag are always among the best produced each and every month. On the inside, the art by Bob Brown had to be his best job ever on the depiction of the Batman. Page 7 was so beautifully drawn that any and all word balloons would have never done it justice. A truly beautiful and graphic art was given up this month by Bob Brown. On the author front, I already said fine, fast-moving tale was this adventure. The best thing about the story and all Denny O'Neil stories are the ironic endings. There are times I look forward to the criminals and baddies getting killed because I know that Denny is going to make an art out of their demise. I know that's a sadistic attitude, but darn if it ain't fun to see these characters get done uniquely. Joe Peluso, Brooklyn, New York. Letter number 3. Dear editor, believe it or not, this is being written by a desperate man. Since my recontinuation of buying and reading comics, with an X, and my rediscovery of almost fanatical love for the gaudy little devils, I've never seen a cover with as much impact as you carried in M. Kaluta's gem in Batman number 248. You've got just to get this man on inside art chores for the series, or I'll consider your failing to do so a disservice to both yourself and the readership alike. Needless to say, the peak you gentlemen hit in your stride was not decreased a bit by the contents of your April issue Death Knell for a Trader. Didn't come off as any mind-stunning self-hype, but came off as a heck of a good action mystery that's always been identified as a typical Batman yarn. A rave-on for all the gents involved in that, too. One minor, very minor, if not unnoticeably so, complaint is that the Robin solo story could have done with a slight more development. All the same, it was nothing to be disparaging or in the face of cover story success. Hopefully you'll top all of this in the future by having the initials MWK on the splash page, Michael W. Kaluta, of a Batman thriller. Leonard Tirado, Saratoga Springs, New York. There's a shadow of a doubt in your hopeful request for Mike W. Kaluta is currently involved in diligently delineating the exploits of the Shadow, DC's new magazine, which will hit the stands in mid-July. But sheesh, speaking of the Shadow, who knows what evil will be lurking in the forthcoming issue of Batman. Now, here's an interesting thing. Next issue on sale, 4th week in July. This is just a timetable. DC did this all the time, and it was like, for me as a kid, okay, we got to wait 4th week of July. September cover date. And Batman was only published, I believe, 8 times a year. Published monthly with the exception of March, May, August, and December. So there would have been an October issue. So if this October issue was coming out at the end of July, this was probably coming out at the end of June. So, like, I probably, like, the end of my first grade year. So, anyway, let me know what you think of the read-throughs, and specifically of this Batman 251. I think the story is just as good as the cover. So you can see from that read-through, the story is as good as the cover. So I think that this... this is one of my all-time favorite single issue stories in comic books. It redefined the Joker, and the Joker really appeared only sparingly over the next couple of years until he got his own ongoing series in I believe it was 1976, 75 or 76. He got his own ongoing series. So, but this redefined him, and this, you could probably draw a straight line from this issue to the Killing Joke, and then what we know the Joker as today. We know the Joker, as the Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix Joker more than the Cesar Romero Joker. And that just makes this an all-time classic issue. I hope that this video maybe gave you some more appreciation of this great comic book. And you can see I've done 2 read-throughs so far, and they're 2 of the 6 books that I have featured in the front of my videos, in my opening credits, so to speak. So these, are books, and that 5 of those 6 books are from 1972. This is the only book from 1973, but that is my childhood. I got this book as a kid. Good thing my parents didn't read it. Because they would have been, what are we giving our kid? But it did get the comic code seal of approval. So let me know what you think about this particular issue. Let me also know what you think about these read-throughs. Thanks for stopping by. You can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.